Hello everybody. This is another of the videos I took in February at the Cajon Pass, and so this train coming uphill, we got 4 BNSF engines and 2 Santa Fe engines. You can see it's a little later in the day, shadows are longer. Cool the way the shadows play out against the soil in the foreground. So using my Phantom 4 Pro drone here, shooting in 4K obviously. So I'm just kind of panning around, and there's the bridge over the flood channel or wash. And in the background, center and left, is the Mormon Rocks area. So I fly over the train here to get to the sunny side, with the sun on the west, towards sunset. You want to kind of be between the sun and the train so that you see the illuminated side of the train, as I do here. You can see off towards the top right, the trucks and vehicles coming down the Interstate 15, and you can get a sense of how steep the road is just based on the slope of the road as the cars are coming down it. I like the way the shadows kind of play out against the ground in the background there. Shadows of the train moving along. Pulling back a little so you can see this bridge over the flood channel a little better. And with the sun angle being low like that, you get to see all the relief, all the elevations, even small elevations in the flood channel itself. That's one of the techniques that satellite analysis folks do, is using oblique angle for the sun and to a certain extent the angle of the camera itself, but mostly from the sun. You're able to see elevation that you can't easily see if the sun is more directly overhead. And you can see the other set of tracks, or the single track, closer to I-15, and just to the right edge of the screen is where the 1996 crash took place, right at that little bridge, trestle bridge. Looking towards the Mormon Rocks area again, and that single track bridge, trestle bridge there, That would be the westmost bridge. I forget what number that is actually, but from this location it would be the westmost bridge. Doing a little climbing here, get a little bit more of a perspective from above. And you can see towards the center right and the top area, you have kind of almost a badland type land formation. And the road you see to the left, as you head northwest from here, just a few miles, was an area that got pretty heavily burned out last summer with the wildfire that came through over the summer. This area gets hit pretty frequently, actually. Pretty windy area, so. So coming towards the end of this first flight here, and in a moment we'll start the second flight and immediately a second train. Notice how smooth the video is here. I mean, I'm translating left and right, moving up and down, and the video is just rock steady. Alright, second flight. You can see the shadows of the train even before you see the train. And there's the train. So I started in this wash area as I have the previous flights. And I do a similar thing. Again, it's a little later in the day than the one just before this. Shadows are a bit longer. And once again, I move to the west side so that I see the illuminated side of the train. You can see the concrete wall as a sort of funneling the flood channel to the bridge. You can see the shadows are even longer now than they were earlier. This was not far from sunset. I mean, literally within 20-30 minutes of sunset. Definitely want to come back here, and the next time I come back, I do plan to shoot video from different locations, even on the sort of the east side of I-15, up near Hill 582 and that general area. You can just see, almost getting ready to disappear in the right-hand side, two engines climbing the track on the east side of I-15, just going out of picture now. This perspective gives a a really nice kind of S-curve show of the track here as it makes the gentle left turn and then a bit sharper right turn, or at least it looks a bit sharper here. I don't know what it actually is, but pretty cool, the sort of the S-curve arrangement they have here. This is a great place to train spot, not only because it's got some interesting geography here, being on a steep hill with some interesting land formations around, but really there's just so much train traffic that you know, you don't have to wait a great length of time for a train to come along. It's I don't know what the total number of trains per day is, but half an hour and you're almost certainly going to see a train. And oftentimes 2 trains at once, sometimes more. So it's a great place to do some train spotting. And on this side of the ridge, or I should say, until you get down a little bit lower on I-15, you really haven't hit the high traffic area of California, Southern California. So, you know, driving along here during rush hour, I-15 is going to get crowded, but it's not bad outside of rush hour time frame. You get closer to the LA area, or, you know, more down in the coastal side of the mountains, and the traffic in California just sucks. So I push in a little closer here. I really didn't venture that far from where my launch point was. So ventured a little further away, pushed a little further north, and climbed up a bit. So you get a nice perspective. You can see the train, you know, for a long distance here. It's traveling maybe 20 miles an hour, maybe a bit more than that, but right around 20 miles an hour, 15, 20 miles an hour, I guess. Engines are just about ready to go underneath the I-15. And this is this thing I've mentioned before about being able to park the drone in a location and just leave it there, as if you've got your camera on a tripod that's, you know, 200, 300 feet, whatever it is. So you can just kind of park it there, and it hardly budges at all. You know, frame by frame, you don't see it move at all. You have to kind of step forward, you know, 20 seconds or so to see any change at all. It's that stable. Pretty amazing. So there's the end of the train. The front of the train is under the I-15, and in a minute you'll see it kind of snaking left and right past the bridge. Still climbing. The summit is probably about a mile or even a bit more than that beyond the I-15. Perhaps a mile and a half, maybe even 2 miles. Not sure. All right, now you can see the front of the train as it's pushed past the I-15, and it kind of snakes left, right. And from where the front of the train is now, you're about a mile, maybe a bit more than that. Yeah, you're a bit more than a mile to the Hill 582, is it? I think about a mile and a half. And that's pretty much the summit. had to make a slight exposure change there. When you're getting close to sunset, the light level changes pretty quickly, so you kind of have to adapt. We're maybe 15 minutes from sunset at this point. "20 minutes maybe. And again, camera almost like on a tripod. So I'm getting towards the end here, doing a pullback. So as the train sort of disappears into the distance, this video is coming to a close, and I thank you for watching. Thank you very much.